Kansas Sports Chatter is back at it. It's time for story time, our opportunity to talk with one of these staff writers from KSHSAA Covered. Scott Paske is back on the show. Scott, how you faring so far? How has the fall season treated you so far?
Oh, real good. It's it's hard to believe we're already flipping into October, and then still Mother Nature's trying to figure out what season it is. But so far, high school football, at least the games I've gone to, I haven't had to deal with much weather, so it's going pretty smoothly. But yeah, I'm always surprised when we get this. How fast we get to week 6. Week 5, week 6 of a high school football season for sure.
No, you just wait. That rain and that wind, it's coming. It's going to pop up here sooner or later.
Absolutely.
Hey, you mentioned, the topic for today's interview, some sleeper teams. There's a lot of really good teams throughout the state, like there is each and every year. But there's also a lot of teams that maybe aren't getting necessarily the same recognition or just the same, I don't want to say respect, but I think they're getting respect. But at the same time, they're not getting maybe as much kudos as some of the other teams. Start out with Oxford. I mean, you talk about an 8-man team that has gone off to a really good start. I mean, Oxford is there.
Yeah, that's a team I had a chance to see recently. Went down to Oxford and saw them beat a previously unbeaten Pratt Skyline team 46-0. And I think that kind of showed me that Oxford might have a ceiling that could be a little higher than a lot of people would expect. They had a good season last year at 7-3 and made it past the first round of the playoffs. Lost to eventual champion Hoxie. Graduated a really good player, an all-state player in Cordell Jordan. So you kind of wondered just what. Oxford would have coming back, and so far so good. I mean, they really dominated to this point. Tyler Brown, I know a guest on one of your recent shows, is a good two-way lineman. And then against Skyline, I really saw the potential in junior Logan Gaither, who ran for 273 yards and 5 touchdowns in that game against Skyline, and just a really solid player. Big physical kid with good speed and plays a real physical middle linebacker spot. So it looks like Oxford has some pieces there that the thing that's going to maybe hold them down or keep them from being a higher seed in the bracket is they're in the same district with number 1 ranked South Central, and that'll be a good test to end their regular season and really kind of see maybe what the ceiling is for them. But I think Oxford is one of those teams with the right matchup. They certainly have some pieces that could make them a formidable player in the 8-man playoffs.
You look at Inman, I mean, their only loss was a shootout. They almost put up, 50 points and came up empty against a really talented Sterling team. Inman, and we had Malachi Brunk on the show as well, and he seems like a special athlete.
Yeah, he just is putting up huge numbers every week, and that's what I think Inman, like you said, they play that 60-47 shootout with unbeaten Sterling, and beat a previously unbeaten Marion team 52-30. So what you notice there is if you're going to beat Inman, you better be ready. You probably better be ready to shut them down and find a way to play some defense, because Brunk has been able to help Inman put up a lot of points, and they've also got a really good defensive playmaker in Cooper Weens. Now the Teutons have given up a lot of points, but Weens is one of those guys, real disruptive. I think it's closing in on the school sack record, and so just a real problem for quarterbacks. But Inman is a team that I'm really curious to see. They'll probably have to battle Mound Ridge, another 1-loss team in the regular season finale for the district title. So they'll have some tests ahead of them. But that Heart of America, Hutchinson Trinity is another team in the Heart of America that is 4-1, or enters week 6 at 4-1, and maybe hasn't played the same level of schedule, but what they have done is dominated some opponents. And Drew Deckant, their quarterback, is doing it with his arm and with his feet. That's another team. They'll have to play Sterling in their regular season finale, probably for a district title. But yeah, that Heart of America, you've got Sterling that entered October unbeaten, and then a lot of 1-loss teams that are kind of establishing their pecking order. And I think at this point, what I'm seeing is that Inman might be one of those teams that could go, could make a run a little deeper into November. And we'll see with Hutch Trinity. I think that's a team with Deckett's an experienced player too. And Hutch Trinity right now is looking good in the Heart of America as well.
Coach Myers at Mulvane High School was on that Shrine Bowl staff last year, and he'll be the head coach next year. I remember talking to him earlier in the season, Scott, and he was pretty excited about this year, and rightfully so. A solid 4-1 start to only that tough loss against Beulah early on in the season. They responded well.
Yeah. Bueller's kind of been their nemesis and beat them twice last year. And in a 7-3 season, that was a good. It was a good bounce back season for Mulvane and kind of got them back on their feet. And this year they're 4-1, that are 4-1 going into week 6, and have had a couple close calls, but they really kind of like Inman. They have that playmaker at quarterback with Manny Myers. He's a good dual threat guy and really really can be a factor for them. After this tape, as the time of this taping, they're getting ready to play McPherson, and so another good test awaits Mulvane. But Mulvane seems to be experienced and with experience in the right spots, and I think that makes them a dangerous team in 4A.
Finally, I mean, continuing with the sleeper teams. I mean, it's hard to be a sleeper when you're undefeated. Through the first 5 weeks, Salina Central, one of those teams in Class 5A, and we were kind of discussing, like, if you're not in the top 5, depending on whatever your rankings are, you're looking at, it's like you're not even noticed. But Salina Central, that's a really good team.
Yeah. 5A's kind of got an elite club of really good teams this year that have kind of dominated those top 5 spots in the rankings. But you keep looking and seeing what Salina Central's doing, and they've put up really good offensive numbers the last few seasons, and they're just doing it again. They've got a really in senior tailback Cooper Reeves, a guy who went over 1,000 rushing yards in the first 5 games of the season, and Central kind of has the meat of its schedule ahead of it. They're like Hutch Trinity haven't really played the heavyweights of their league yet, but Salina Central is doing They've done some good things to this point and scored a lot of points. It's another team that as we get to the playoffs, they have that element that they're a tough offense to stop, and you start looking at who would they match up with, I guess, when you get into November, and no matter who they end up facing, they're going to be a real challenge for the opposing defense with Reeves kind of leading the way on the offensive side.
Scott, if someone goes to KSHSAA Covered, what will they be seeing? What are some of the things that you guys coming out?
Yeah, as we get into mid-October, we're kind of gearing up for the fall sports championship season. It all starts with state tennis here in mid-October, and then state girls golf right behind it, and then it just kind of they just kind of piggyback as we start kind of looking ahead to the winter season as well. But yeah, at the end of the month with state volleyball and cross country, and of course we'll have complete coverage of the football season on into November and into the playoffs.
Sounding good, Scott. Appreciate the time.
Yeah, thanks. Always enjoy it, Cole.
That is Scott Paske, one of the staff writers for KSHSAA Covered. That'll do it for Storytime.